Well, here it is then, folks. After 16 seasons and 126 episodes, Nuneaton Town are in the Premier League. Hello and welcome to part 127 of Backing the Boro. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we're going to have a bit of a recap on all of our summer transfers, plus play our first ever game in the Premier League at home against Newcastle. I say at home. Obviously, if you weren't in the live streamed transfer window that we did yesterday, which is available in the playlist, it's there to watch. It's like 2.5 hours of wonderfulness. But our new home ground for the next couple of seasons is the Brian Clough Arena in Nottingham. It's Nottingham Forest's new ground. They built it in 2028. It's got a 24,500 capacity. We're expected to sell it out for this first game of the new season as well, which is ridiculous, quite frankly, especially when you consider that our new stadium, the Nuneaton Stadium, which is expected to be finished in June 2035, has only got a capacity of 16,500. So if we continue to max out the Brian Clough Arena for the next 2 years, we're then going to have like an 8,000 per week cut in attendance when we move into the new ground, which just seems so silly. Why not build a big enough ground in the first place? But who am I to question the board? After all, they've brought us this far, and let's have a look at all of our wonderful summer transfers. I think this has been a good transfer window. We'll start off looking at the released players because there's a man we need to say goodbye to. Dan Fisher. It's been real, Dan, but he's gone. He hasn't actually found a new club yet either, which is a real shame. But he's not been the same player for a number of years now. Really, that second season in the Championship, he wasn't the same Dan Fisher. In the 4 years since then, he's never quite got back to where he was back here. So it's a shame to see him go, but there was no point paying him the ridiculous amount of money that he wanted to keep him around. But we have brought in some awesome players to replace him. A couple of players have left. Brandon Hughes has left for 30,000 to Stevenage. Sam Allen's gone to Tranmere for 375,000. There's a whole load of other players we're trying to sell. Ollie Stainsby, Peter Anderson, Jack Lenton, Alex Denny, Dara O'Brien. There's loads that we're trying to get rid of. And hopefully, now that they've all discovered they've not been registered for our squad for the new season, they might actually agree some offers. Jack Linton has had 4 or 5 different MLS clubs offer us 5 or 6 million quid for him that he's then not agreed personal terms with. So hopefully, when they realise they're not going to get any opportunity to play any Premier League football this season, they might move on. But I've got a feeling because we're paying them so much money, they might just stick around, which would be a bit of a shame. But we have signed £15 million worth of player, and probably the most exciting of all of them arrived on a free. Sean Hull is now a permanent Nuneaton player, aged only 22, valued at over £11 million now, 4-star current ability, 4-star potential. We know all about him from last year with his 24 goals from 27 appearances, 24 goals from 22 starts. Almost all of those goals in that run-in that led us to the league title. A few people asked in the comments, Kev, how on earth did you go on a 8 or 9 game winning run at the end of the season when everything was looking so rough? Sean Hull is the answer to that question. He finally got a run in the team and just kept scoring goals. So he's now a permanent player. And then lots and lots of other players have brought in to try and give us a Premier League looking squad. Clement Piri is a 23-year-old South African international, central midfielder, 3-star current ability, 3.5-star potential. He's in as a squad player. As when we signed him, we thought he was going to be a superstar. As the summer went on and we realised we could actually bring in better quality than him, he's just going to be another midfielder knocking around the club. But he was our first foreign signing since Luca Ercolani. Thomas Hermes is a 27-year-old Austrian international centre-back, 3.5-star current ability. He was playing for Austria Vienna for, in fact, his whole career up until now. 7 caps for Austria as well. He's going to come in and offer some competition for places at centre-back and right-back. Emiliano Palacio is a 27-year-old Uruguayan international, 3.5-star current ability. He's been at Alaves, Le Havre, Real Betis. He's done a bit of a European tour, or I guess largely a Spanish tour with a little bit of France thrown in. But lots of games, international experience. It's all very useful. Nicola Gagliano comes in as our new hottest prospect, according to the main club page, taken over from Hayden Sheridan. He's a 21-year-old Italian right-back, 3.5-star current ability, 4.5-star potential. Was at Perugia, went to Empoli, and we picked him up for a bargain at £2.5 million. Josh Egan is a goalkeeper I've been trying to sign for 2 or 3 seasons. 23-year-old English keeper, 3-star current ability, 4-star potential, so slightly better than Lee Hugo. I think we've got 2 very promising young English goalkeepers there, but every time you see him going on loan to other clubs, I was trying to get him on loan as well. He came available for free. We snapped him up. Between him and Hugo, they're going to be our competition for the goalkeeper's shirt this season. Simone Dal Gaudio, 26-year-old Italian attacking midfielder, 3.5-star ability from Vicenza, previously of Roma, Udinese. We've signed a lot of Italians, which is, well, he is one of the Italians. We've signed a lot of Italians. Here's another one. Simone Graziano, 24-year-old Italian under-21 international striker, 3.5-star current ability, 4-star potential. Verona, Crotone, Spal, Spezia, Lazio. I mean, he's played for every team in Italy ever. He looks quite good as well. Luca Fia is another Italian, 27-year-old central midfielder, 3.5-star current ability. Frosinone, probably. I don't know. This is the problem when we start signing foreign players. I don't know how to say these words. Also, Udinese, Lazio, some of your bigger Italian clubs in there as well. Lewis Dines is a youngster we won't worry about yet, as is Will Lambert, another youngster we won't worry about yet. We've signed both those with a view to sending them out on loan. Joseba Etxabi, you're going to have to tell me how to say him. Another right back, can also play right wing, so we've got that there as an option if we decide to go down that. We're not going to play wingers at any point. 2.5-star current ability, 5-star potential, so he comes in as our backup right back but with bags of potential, and he's a very attacking right back. Tommy Taggart signed permanently for £4 million. I would say Tommy Taggart was the difference maker, the start of better things at Nuneaton. When we got relegated from the Championship, it was largely because of our defence. We brought Tommy Taggart in, and he was a defensive rock for 2 years. I'm happy to bring him in for £4 million. He's not our best centre-back. Hermes and King are both supposedly better than him. But you know what? He's Tommy Taggart, and I wanted him here permanently, and £4 million seemed like a bargain. Loris Bettin is another Italian, this time a left-back, 22 years old, 3.5-star current ability. He's in from Torino. And Josh Llewellyn is an attacking midfielder, 23-year-old, 3-star current ability, 4-star potential. He comes in for £825,000 from Middlesbrough, having spent lots of time out on loan at various places. This is one of those that my director of football decided to bring in, and I just thought, you know what, we'll go with him. It worked with Levi Hayes when he did that with Levi Hayes. I'll trust my director of football can sometimes get it right too, and we'll hope that Josh Llewellyn becomes a hero. And then these last 3, again, these are all director of football signings because he realised we didn't have many loans, so he decided to bring in some loans. I'm not going to argue with him. James Brown is a 19-year-old Scottish striker on loan from Celtic for the season, 3.5-star current ability, 5-star potential. Stephen Robertson is a 23-year-old Australian international left-back, 3-star current ability, 4-star potential. So we've got some good fullback options now, which is something we've struggled with a little bit in recent years. And then Adrian Smith is a 30-year-old English midfielder on loan from Hibernian for the season. Gives us a little bit of experience in the middle there. Has got a little bit of Premier League experience previously, lots of Championship experience. Another one who just comes in, similar to Pahiri, just comes in as another body to have in the midfield. Apparently my director of football doesn't get it right every single time. He'll go on to be a superstar now, I guarantee it. So, with all those comings and goings, we did have the busiest transfer window of anyone in the Premier League. 18 new players arriving. We haven't completely ruined dynamics, although it's not as good as it could be. And we've got a couple of players who are a little bit grumpy. Our team leaders are now Ball, Sawyer and Chris Ruggles has moved up to replace Dan Fisher as our team leaders. But I think we've got a decent bit of balance there. And our finances currently look like this. I know we're in debt, but that's because we've just spent £14 million. And with 25,000 fans turning up every week, plus Premier League money, our projections for the future are finally looking pretty good. So hopefully we're going to have a big sack of cash at the end of this season. And imagine how much money we'll have if we manage to stay in the Premier League. All of the predictions and whatnot for this season obviously have put us absolutely rock bottom. Season preview has us rock bottom of the Premier League. The board are just looking for the battle bravely against relegation thing. So similar to when we first got promoted getting into the Championship. Even if we get relegated, I'm not losing my job. And I don't think it would be the biggest disaster in the world if we do go down this season, because we've started to put things in place so that if we do go down and come back up, we'll come back up much stronger than we are this time. Better squad, better players, better ground, similar to when we got relegated from the Championship and came back that much stronger. So this is our team for our first ever game in the Premier League. Looks a bit different. I don't remember the last time we had a completely new look team for the start of the season, so this could go disastrously wrong with loads of new players and no match cohesion, but cross those fingers, everybody. So we've got Igan in goal, a back four of Bettin, Taggart, King and Gagliano, with Palais, Sophia and Barron in midfield, and Llewellyn in behind Hull and Graziani. I'm going to need so much help with these pronunciations. Let me know down in the comments how to say these names right. Hull, I think I can just about master. Barron, I'm all right with. The rest of them, no idea. Let's get into the game. We're playing against Newcastle, and this is going to give us a good indication of how this season is likely to be, I think. Maurice King becomes captain today. Josh Sawyer is our club captain now. James Ball will be a appearance that he gets just so that he gets an appearance at some point. I don't imagine he's ever going to get a run in the team as a first team player. But this, like I say, it's going to give us a good indication of whether this is going to be a long, hard season or whether we could actually have a chance of staying out of a relegation battle. If we get absolutely thumped today, then we know this squad isn't as good as I thought it might be. But I think in the circumstances, with the money we had to spend, I think we've done as well as we could possibly do. It would have been nice to bring in a 4-star goalkeeper and, you know, with international experience and all that stuff. But if you believe there was one and I didn't sign him, watch the 2.5-3 hour live stream from yesterday where the only decent goalkeeper who showed up at any point was Egan. I don't know how to say his name. No idea. But he was the only one, and he's basically no better than Hugo. So there wasn't a goalkeeper. I'm not going to start doing player searches and all this other stuff. It's not how I play Football Manager. I mean, that is an unfortunate first goal to concede in the Premier League. But it's nice to see a 24,000 capacity stadium absolutely packed out with blue shirts. It's an emotional day for all of us, and hopefully we can reward them all with a goal, because the problem is, if we lose 6-0, then they might not come back for the rest of the season. Although you'd like to think, in reality, if Nuneaton never made it into the Premier League, no one's going to care what the results are all season. People are just going to turn up and enjoy it. And I hope that's how this season's going to go, because the first 25 minutes have shown me that, yep, this isn't close to a Premier League squad. This is going to be a long, hard season. We're going to lose an awful lot of games, but here's 2 promises. Promise number 1, I'm not getting sacked. Only losers get sacked. And promise number 2, I am not going to go counter-attacking, defensive, play wingers, play 5 at the back. We're going to do 4-3-1-2. We are going to attack. We are going to go down swinging. And if we have to go down and come back up again, then so be it. It'll all be worth it in the end. My camera battery's about to die, so I need to swap that over. There you go, we're back. Did we score 3 goals while I was doing? No change. I'd hoped we'd be. I don't mind having a little bit of cheating in the background, just cut away. Oh, look, we scored 3 goals. No, apparently can't even cheat right. Goodness me. Right, let's get into the second half. I think what we need to do, if nothing else in this second half, is get Josh Sawyer on the pitch, just so that he can be the man. I think he deserves it more than anybody at this point. He can be the man who has played for us in every league, from the National League up to the Premier League. He's still only 28 years old as well, and still in the squad and in and around the team on merit. Unlike James Ball, who's here as a nostalgia act, he's very much squad number 25 in our 25-man squad. But Josh Sawyer is about to come on the pitch to make his Premier League debut. There he is, look. I mean, he's coming on for King as well, so he'll take his captain's armband. Llewellyn has been rubbish, so apparently my director of football knows nothing. So we'll bring on the attacking midfielder I signed in the shape of Del Gaudio. And Sean Hull has also been rubbish. We've got Kent Wheatley and Chris Ruggles on the bench. I don't know that either of them are necessarily going to be better than Sean Hull in these circumstances, but we'll bring Ruggles on. And we'll do a good old Kev triple substitution, because let's face it, it isn't going to change the game, no matter what we do. But Ruggles might decide to get on there and just grab himself a goal. Del Gaudio might be an absolute superstar, game-changing hero. Josh Sawyer might lead us on to greatness. Or we might concede a third goal without really putting up much of a fight. I guess what we've got going in our favour, if we have a look at the stats, we have had 61% possession. We've had 16 shots. Yes, we've not created a clear-cut chance, but it's not that we're struggling to get the ball. And it does feel a lot like when we first got promoted to the Championship, because we're still playing our game. The problem is the lack of quality compared to our opposition, both up front and at the back. So the chances we get, we're not scoring. And the chances they get, we can't defend against. So even if it, on the face of it, if you take all of the chances out of it, it looks like we've had a better game. We're just not close to as good as they are. So what we've got to hope for is that there's 3, 4, 5 teams in this league just as rubbish as we are. Newcastle probably aren't in that number. They've been a solid Premier League team all the way through this save. So perhaps Newcastle are always going to thump us. The real test is going to be when we play the likes of Leicester or Stoke. Or who else might be rubbish? Watford, Burnley, Brentford. These are teams that we need to be properly competing with. But yeah, we've been absolutely smashed today, haven't we? Oh no! I was so hoping that we would take the momentum from last season and explode onto the Premier League, but ah dear. We looked like Nuneaton playing a Premier League match there. This is going to be a tough one. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.